So today I'm continuing with the theme of the last 2 days from Rebbetzin Tamar taback of the Nexus school. We're looking at this from the lens of male-female being uncoupled through Adam and Eve in the context of the bigger picture of the story of Purim with Esther as the feminine, and looking through this lens to see our dark side, our light side, the oneness, and of course also like in a partner, the unconscious relationship struggle, and how when we are trying to put the negativity into our partner, or we're trying to squash the essence of the other, there's no one to interact with. So where are we up to? A front-facing man welcomes our light, and it isn't a power struggle. Front-facing mean first Adam and Eve back to back, and a severing happened, and then they could face each other. We can be all our, we can be whole. We can be all our awakened aspects. If we're struggling in the relationships, right, that's the right track. It's the first stage. So in order to merge and join, we first have to separate and know the boundaries of where one ends, the other begins. Otherwise we're like bleeding into each other. It's like an umbilical cord that that's called backsided relating. It's happening in an unconscious way, just from the flow. We don't even know where we are, where they are. And Nasira, which is called the cutting, happens gradually. There's 10 stages. Once we're uncoupled, the feminine advances a great stride forward in orientation to beloved, and a big reduction simultaneously in its spiritual stature. The woman can go through 7 stages of spiritual ascension. She's the limiting regent. When we use that, I wrote that because when I used to take chemistry, it's like you want to make a reaction. There's something that there's something that reacts with the substances. So however much of that there is how much of a reaction could occur. So she's the limiting regent for this potential of spirituality in the relationship. And there's 3 stages therefore there's really of the relationship now. Therefore there's really 3 stages of the woman. So when we say, sorry, I was projecting, that's my dark matter, let me reel it back in, versus the blame, the anger, we lose power if we think they're the ones who could fix it, if we blame them for being the problem. We take our power back, we're saying, it's upsetting me, I can look inside. And Nasira is about when we get cut apart from the other, who we can't see, we're not who we thought we were, and then we can grow into who we are on a solid foundation. So there's something called a holy selfhood. That's what saves the world. Not talking about selfishness, self-obsession, but selfhood. Oral Torah is defined as a different sort of revelation than the written Torah, which is complete, and you're not allowed to add or subtract anything. The sum total of creative insights pressed from the souls of Jewish people seeking to live with integrity, the truths they absorbed at Sinai. It's not innovative, happening alive, or evolving, the written Torah. The oral Torah is perfecting. It's the feminine. It's the written is the masculine, it's the perfection, and the perfecting is like the resurrecting of the dew. Resurrecting dew. That's what is God's kind of special recipe of it. Each one of our personal stories are being written by Mashiach, and Hashem is signing it. Our journeys, personal successes and failures invisibly emerging, and the oral Torah, we meet with our Creator face to face, core to core, and holy dialogue comes from that still small space inside of us, soul to soul. It's very private, or in Hebrew, Judaism would say tsanua, personal, intimate. It's about a dignity, a privacy, a modesty, that we can't even tell it to someone else. It's God opening up to allow us the creativity of engaging through the oral Torah. And it gives us the possibility for union of heavenly revelation and human realization. It's a give and take, which is why women don't really wear tefillin, because we are the tefillin. It's like an umbilical cord and a womb. And when we go back to the beginning, we'd say the evil portrayal of the royal crown is, the good is when it's revealed godliness in the world. That's the royal crown. So in the context of the Purim story with Esther, Vashti and Achashveirosh, there was Vashti the queen, and she was very promiscuous, but she didn't want to do it for the sake of her husband. She didn't want to be ruled or objectified by him. And they were feeling threatened, the masculine, this is representing masculine and feminine. The masculine was feeling threatened that the feminine refused to listen to him and didn't want to be submitting to objectification. And basically to appear naked with nothing but the royal crown. So they had, and Achashveirosh was the king, it's like the buffoon instead of like the king that represents God. So neurotic codependency, enmeshment, projecting guilt and shame, lack of boundaries. It's agenda were so vicious, she was hurling insults. You're nothing without me. Your greatness lies only in my greatness. You're not even capable or worthy. You're of lowliness. They were humiliating each other. And that's relating back to back, speaking at the same time or over each other. A narcissistic viewpoint is everyone's an extension of me, everyone's here to do my bidding. It's threatened by the independence of others and propelled into a tantrum and a rage. And the people the people's warps we engage with also can require us to get support, care, and guidance. And when assuring self or part of the growth to make sure we stay safe is about staying in the higher self with consciousness, light, and love. And that creates a space for them to be disarmed and come to it on their own. It's a place of non-attachment versus the human ego, which is maybe we're giving fear-based advice. She's a threat. Like they were telling achashveirosh, she's a threat. All the women will despise and disgrace their husbands if you don't punish this. So Vashti's beheading was like the dark side of the feminine, losing her head and her brain power diminished. Achashveirosh immediately regrets it, and there's a circular phase of the woman's lifespan, preparing herself for coming to the true frontal relationship and blossoming via selflessness, devotion, love, and sharpening of intuition, which is motherhood. So when we dissolve our ego, like that's a self-sacrifice of being so giving and present that we build our character and cultivate generosity, and then the interacting with the light side of the masculine, which is raising daughters, facilitating the rise of the feminine. Esther didn't have parents. So Mordechai, not Achashveirosh here, Mordechai was her uncle or raised her. And it says that his breast milk is like, his breast produced milk miraculously for her. And breast milk is bina, of mother's heart. So it goes into the child with like nurture, nourishment, not just the body, but brain. And when bina, or God's influence and energy, raises man, she designates a special energy fund earmarked for woman's growth, which she transferred into man, and he becomes its trustee. So the man serves as the intermediary between God and the woman, and he passes the special resources on to the woman, enabling her development as provider. Until the woman reaches her crown, the hero is the man, giving her life force, milk. And we need to thank our men for keeping those cosmic funds for us. And the masculine collective has been giving feminine archetype supplies generously to help her grow. And so this is about gratitude, vulnerability, and respect. And she moves from bat, which is daughter, to bayit, which is house. And he married her. She becomes the home. He was hiding her and realized he needs to let her show up for her transformation and ascension by bringing her to the transfer threshold. So I'll stop there. This is a good place to sort of let it marinate. And wish you a blessed day. I look forward to sharing more on this topic tomorrow.